And I'm proud to be an American where I thought I could get my check and get inflation adjustments perpetually and lie on my disability and get a check for life because I can, because I'm a veteran, yes, sir. And now my country has betrayed me by not wanting to give me a free check for the rest of my life. I tried. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. We got some breaking news on the veteran scene. Normally, I don't talk about like veteran stuff, but this was actually a little bit applicable to my message on this channel. A big part of my message is that you can never rely on one source of income. You must diversify your income streams, because if you don't and you rely on one source of income, you're going to be in trouble if you lose that source of income. But if you diversify, you're going to be okay. At least as long as you have a good skill and you're not a broke loser. Buy my book, by the way. So we're going to talk about some proposed changes to veterans' benefits. Now, a lot of people don't know how it works in the United States military. Let me break it down for you, okay? When you get out of the military, if you don't complete 20 years, you do not get a pension. You don't get anything. You could do 19 years, they kick you out because you're ugly or something, and you don't get a pension. That's how it works in the military. However, there's this thing called VA disability compensation. You can get VA disability for service-connected disabilities. If you get your leg blown off, if you get your arm blown off, if you lie and make up and say you have ED, you get VA disability. Now, in full disclosure, I do get some, okay? And I actually have some legitimate injuries I've sustained in the military. And if you don't like it, you can call financial advice and sue me. But there is, in my opinion, some blatant fraud that is going on with VA disability. And I've talked about this before. There are so many veterans out there. They just see VA disability as a free check. And I'm going to show you how much these veterans get paid, okay? Now, I want to be very clear. If you have a legitimate injury caused by the military, you deserve VA compensation. I got no problem with it whatsoever. If you get your leg blown off, yeah, you should probably get a check, okay? If you have severe PTSD and you can't work, you should probably get some kind of compensation. But that doesn't mean that when you get out of the military, you can just lie and make up a bunch of disabilities just so you can get a free check for the rest of your life. And this happens a lot more than you think. VA disability is given out like freaking candy. Okay, it is. It's so easy to get it. It's crazy. So a lot of veterans, they do like one term. They do like 4 or 5 years. They get out and they get massive amounts of disability. Now, let's go look and see how much these veterans get paid. But before we do that, I'm gonna keep you tensed up. You're gonna be shocked how much veterans get. We're gonna talk about some proposals, okay? And I was gonna talk about a post that I saw on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is what cued me in. So apparently you have the Congressional Budget Office, which is trying to find ways to cut the federal budget because we spend money hand over freaking fist. And we have a lot of mandatory programs that are never going away. You think old people are going to vote away Social Security when they're the majority of voters and we have a population pyramid that really isn't that great? No, Social Security ain't going away. And we'll do whatever we got to do to make sure they get those checks. But veterans are a much smaller minority. So if you want to cut the budget, would you want to cut Social Security that affects every person over 62, basically? Or would you rather cut VA benefits? Seems like a lot easier to cut that. I mean, yeah, you'll piss off some veterans. Man, you hate America because you come up here with this building, boy. But it's a lot easier to do because there aren't that many veterans relative to the amount of total old people, okay? Now, let's talk about some of the proposals. There's a lot of text. We're not going to be here that long, okay? But they're talking about reducing payments on VA disability, okay? Because VA disability is an insane amount of money that is getting spent by the federal government. The change to VA disability, so these changes that they're talking about, would reduce outlays by $253 billion over the next, I think, 10 years, or 17%. 5.2 million veterans received VA disability in 2021 from the VA because of medical conditions or injuries that occurred or worsened during active duty service. About 280,000 of them received compensation for the first time that year. Some are legit, some are not. I'm telling you, I was in the military. I know. It's like, oh yeah, say you got ED and you get VA disability. You know what I'm saying? Service-connected disabilities vary widely in severity and type and include the loss of a limb, anxiety, and hearing loss. VA determines when a veteran has a service-connected disability and assigns a rating to each condition on the basis of the severity of the disability, from 0 to 100%. And if you get 100%, you make a lot of freaking money. Base compensation ranges from $150 to $3,330 per month. And that's not all, okay? Now, what is the proposal? What are they trying to do? Well, they're spending a lot of money on VA disability. In 2021, the VA paid $110 billion in disability benefits, 4 times the amount that was paid in 2020 or 2000, after removing the effects of inflation. Even though the number of veterans in the United States declined by more than 30%, from 26 million to 19 million. You see why this could possibly be cut a little bit more? Because there's 19 million veterans. There's like, 100 quadrillion old people in the United States. Spending per recipient rose from 11,000 to 22,000. The vast majority of veterans are making a lot of disability. A lot, okay? Now, what is the plan? They're going to have a phase out. Under the phase out, veterans whose gross household income was $170,000 or higher in the calendar year 2023 and who would have received the average annual payment would no longer receive any disability compensation from the VA in the calendar year 2024. There would be no adjustment in the income threshold for household size. The current eligibility requirements of benefits would not change for the surviving family members of a veteran. The income threshold below which veterans will receive full benefits would be set at $125,000. So basically, if you make under $125,000, it looks like under this proposal, you'd be covered. You'd be fine. You still get your hot check. But there's a phase out, and then once you hit $170,000, you would no longer receive VA disability in the next year. Oh, man. And the funny thing is, right? Here's how the whole military works, okay? People retire out of the military. They get their pension, which is taxable. They get their military pension. And then they go work for the federal government. And a lot of veterans that are like retired officers or like retired, senior enlisted people that work for the federal government, they make probably that or more, okay? So the military people are some of the best paid people in the United States. Go up to Washington, D.C., look at the freaking houses. And look at all the government workers. They're making bank, okay? And they're supplementing their lifestyle with VA disability, okay? So this is it's a mean-tested proposal where they're going to cut your compensation depending on how much you make. If you don't make a lot of money, if you're just a poor loser like me, broke loser, stop being a broke loser. It's on Amazon. Okay, you get to keep your dizzy. But if you make over $170,000, you get zilch. Now, just so you non-veterans get really jealous, okay? Like I said, there's ratings between 0% and 100%. If you get a 0% rating, basically the military acknowledges that you got injured in the military. I went to captain's career course, and I was running. This was like 2-3 years ago, and I stepped in a pothole, and I literally broke my freaking foot. And I was on a run. Like everybody else wanted to go they wanted to go play basketball. So everybody was doing basketball in the morning. I was like, if I'm going to get up in the morning for PT, yeah, I'm going to do a real workout. I'm not going to get up at 6:30 in the freaking morning and just screw off and play basketball. So I got approval to go run off by myself. This is at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And there are these freaking potholes. And I literally stepped in it and broke my foot on purpose. No, but I really did. And I actually got 0% VA disability for it, which is hilarious because people make stuff up and they actually get real disability. But look at the compensation, okay? 0 to 100%. So this is 30 to 60, right? Now, depending on if you have kids or spouses, you get a certain amount of money. And if you look at the maximum disability rating, let's go down to 100%. Where is 100%? I thought it was on here. Here it is. Compensation rates for 70 to 100%. And I would hazard a guess the vast majority of disabled veterans are in the 70 to 100% range. I'm just saying. Okay, a lot, because you can see the average spend per veteran. It's pretty significant. Now, look how much you can make. Okay, look how much you can make with one child and a spouse. If you're 100% disabled, you get $3,971 per month. And guess what? It's tax free. Tax free. You make freaking bank if you get 100% disability. So think about this. Most veterans are incentivized to try to claim disability because you could just do like one tour, you get out, and you're like, oh, my pee-pee doesn't work. And people do this. I'm not joking. And they get a check for life. They don't have to do 20 years. They get a check for life, okay? So, of course, the government's going to freaking eye this and say, you know what? Maybe we could cut back. But all the veterans organizations, oh, no. I'm kind of behind it in a way, okay? And if I made over 125,000, yeah, it would kind of suck if they cut my benefits a little bit. But hey, there's a lot of fraud in the system. I'm just going to say that. Okay. People aren't going to like that. I'm just going to speak the truth. There's a lot of fraud out there. People like completely making up disability. I've had PTSD. Did you ever deploy? Oh, yeah, I was on the fob. I never left the fob, though. And yeah, I've got PTSD. Okay, yeah, you have PTSD. That's right. Oh, 50%. Here you go. It's like candy. I'm not looking down. There are some people that legitimate have PTSD and anxiety from the military. 100%, especially if you're in combat. Oh, yeah. Okay, that definitely changes you a little bit. That definitely affects you a little bit. 100% behind that. But if you're just some clown and you're just making stuff up, I've heard so many stories by people that just make it. Oh, yes, I said my foot was broke. Well, I actually broke my foot, but like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, my pee-pee doesn't work and I can't walk. Oh, my God. And they get disability. It's crazy, okay? So if you ever hear this stuff in the news, don't get all worked up about it, okay? Like, when it comes to military people, a lot of veterans, like, they depend on these checks. They do. And it's like, you cannot depend on one check. You must always have multiple sources of income. Always, 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 always. This is why I'm insane about this. Always. You should have multiple side jobs, because if one job goes down, one job goes bad, guess what? You're good, especially if you got kids, okay? Let's do some comments. Strongman is a communist. He gets free checks every month. I do. I love you, Strongman. I went to war, boy. My friend in the Marines had a bunch of buddies played the system. Doctors helped them get $1,700 a month at age 22, and these guys were bragging, working out in the gym. Yes, it happens, dude. It's crazy. I mean, like, and it makes like, it cheapens the service of a lot of veterans that actually got injured. Like, there are really jacked up people that come out of the military. Get your leg blown off, get your arm blown off. I totally get it. But these clowns, oh, yeah, I got 100%. They're like running and working out. It's like, oh my God. The doctor's helping them get close to 100% VA disability, however that crap works. Yeah, you just got to say all the right things and check all the right boxes. Do you get medical insurance benefits in the Army if you are a reservist? You do. As a matter of fact, I get very cheap healthcare. It's a great benefit, man. Oh, it's so cheap. It's basically like I'm in a socialist country. You know what I'm saying? Like universal healthcare. That's basically what I have. It's like $200 a month to cover my entire family. Okay. Whoa. Can't get me. Taxes are too high. But by the way, they're probably not going to cut this. But even if they do, it's like, whatever. Most veterans just won't work. If you have money and can afford better healthcare, that's what you should do. I mean, TRICARE is not bad. I've never had any major issues with it. If I were to get a private plan, it would be way more money, man. Oh, I can help fund the veterans after I'm a billionaire. I bought 1 million shares of a very good food company. And my Stepbro says it's a $10 stock. You know, Jeremy can't lose, man. At this point, just you got to accept it. Jeremy won. He's a champion. Let's see. Yes, another strongman video. I'm making fun of disabled veterans. A lot of my friends' buddies get 90% plus, scamming the system. They were healthy and bragging. Yeah, if you brag about it, like, it's like, come on, man. Now, if you deployed, you got shot at, and you were like in combat, like steady combat, I can 100% see why it would jack you up. 100%. Totally behind it. But if you're like just some clown that never left the fob, you can lick my, you know what. Being in the military is the ultimate grift, and Weak Man managed to grift even more with a fraudulent disability claim. Okay. But sure, Lefebvre is the scammer. Man, I'm a scammer. I do fraudulent disability claims. I'm just trash. Let's see. A lot of veterans lie or have help from higher ups to scam. That's 100% true. That's why I don't like the military. I don't like the military because there's just a lot of like, I don't know how it functions. There's so many clowns in the military. And some people are like, you get the best people on the planet in the military. Smart, you know, in crazy shape, freaking amazing people. But you also get these massive clowns in the military. It's like there's no like middle of the road people in the military. They're either freaking clowns or they're freaking amazing. And it's just like, I don't know how this thing functions. How does the military function? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Because there's so many, like, nothing works. I was trying to like sign a document for my reserve unit. And like my card wouldn't freaking turn on, and then I signed it, and the thing froze, and then my certificate was wrong. I was like, God, I just want to freaking sign this form. My buddy was near a car bomb. He pulled off the old ring in the ear scam. He gets $1,200 a month for life. He admits he's scammed. $1,200 for ringing ears? Well, he probably got TBIs, what I'm thinking, because I don't think you get that much for ringing ears. Yeah, most of the guys I know said they have hearing problems. That's how I don't know. I don't think you get that much from hearing. Let's see. You actually went overseas and fought, right? What was that experience like? Did it traumatize you? It didn't traumatize me, okay? It's scared. It's very scary, okay? Very scary when you get shot at. But yeah. Maybe I'll tell my war stories another time. But it wasn't like World War II where I'm like storming the beaches of Normandy. Most people don't have that experience anymore in the military. Some people do. Most people don't. Let's see. The military is no longer respectable. Oh, and it's basically turning into NASA. It's turning into NASA, like hardcore. He had barbed wire in hand at the time and fell into it and got a facial scar, claimed PTSD in the ring, and can't remember what percent he was disabled, but around 1,200. Yeah, that's probably like 50% or something. Imagine having a paid job and calling it service, ultimate grift. You don't like the military, kid freshie? You hate veterans? It cheapens the service will make the government cut spending on benefits. It does. I 100% agree. But like, what do you do? Like, America loves veterans. So they're obsessed with veterans, man. Oh, you served. Here's free money. All right. Strongman, I started my Walmart sandwiches business. Let's see. You proclaim to give a crap about vets, but don't believe in white privilege. I don't even know what to say to that comment. Oh, you got me. Oh. Let's see. Doing VT will increase their compensation. Oh, then I'm definitely not doing it. Let's see. Veterans get way more than African Americans. The military is a huge part of systemic race. There's actually a lot of minorities in the military, just so you know. Just saying. Kid Fresh, if you've never been in the service and you do not get to open those soy lips of yours unless a masculine presence demands it of you. Kid Freshie just trolls no matter what. I could cure cancer and Kid Freshie would be trolling my comments. It doesn't matter. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, that's kind of it. I mean, if they change the benefits, you might hear some propaganda in the news. Like, oh, veterans they're getting screwed over. But there is a lot of problems with that whole thing. Okay. Just letting you know. All right. That's it. Talk to you later. Cheers.